Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, Lesego M, Daddy Waddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. How are you? How have you been? I know I have been inconsistent with a lot of episodes. Recorded 2 episodes in this week. I'm supposed to record 5, but I've been going through a whole lot of things, changes. As I said, with the move as well that I made to the VAR. That's also a contributing factor to that, amongst other things. Song of the day is Prosper by Nasty C, currently sitting at 1.3 million in Spotify. So I want us today to talk about, you remember on the second last episode when I said to you I was going to get back to you as far as information about being an online teacher or teaching online or online subject. I said I was going into that. So today I want us to talk about that, and I think it's the perfect time to really talk about that in detail. I'll give you everything from the inside out and how everything looks, and some of the things that people do talk about and don't talk about. So we'll get to talk about that in this episode. So firstly, I'd like to talk to people who really, so this episode specifically to people who are interested into getting into online teaching. I think it's an amazing platform if you want a side hustle. That's just, like, online teaching is a platform for people who want to do online hustling, if I may. I don't know if that makes any sense. So yeah, let's get on to it. So I want to introduce you to the topic of the day, which is online teaching. So for you to be an online teacher, you don't necessarily, because I know a lot of people say this, you have to be, like, the minimum requirement, you need to have a bachelor's degree or degree. So it's not true. I think it depends with fights, and I guess we'll get to talk about that even more in the episodes as we progress into it. So, but the primary thing that you need is what we call a TELF certificate. So a TELF certificate, you need that, as a minimum requirement if you don't yet have a bachelor's degree, because you can also have a bachelor's degree but still don't qualify. To some sites you don't qualify because you don't have the 120-hour TELF certificate. So you need the TELF certificate. So I want us to talk about the TELF certificate. So the TELF certificate allows you to be an online teacher in any platform. Not really any platform, but majority of the platform that I was able to research. So majority of those platforms that I was able to research, you need the TELF certificate as a minimum requirement. So I want us to talk about, like, how do you go about getting the TELF certificate. So for people, some of you may know and some of you may not know. So for people who want to go the paid route, you can use sites such as Cambly. You can pay for the TELF certificate within that test and everything. You just pay in the site. But there's another option as well, which is Teacher's Record. So Teacher's Record is a platform that's very free for anyone who's into getting a certificate, but you don't have to pay any charges. You can take the test. It has about 15 modules, if I'm not mistaken. 15 modules, 120-hour TELF certificate. It has about 15, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I want us to get into, like, the details of this. So yeah, so sorry about that. So I want us to get into the detail. There's 15 modules to it, and you can really study and pass the exams and, get the certificate. So there's 15 modules. In those 15 modules, the breakdown is, in every module there's a test. You write a test. Module 1, you take that, you write the test. Module 2, and the beauty about this is that every question that they ask you, there's like test question. There's like test question minutes. It doesn't really matter if you get it wrong, right? So you take those test questions, they let you know which, okay, no, this is not the answer, this is the answer. So in those practice questions, and the beauty about this is that those practice questions, some of them are the questions that they ask on the module test. So if you are able to memorize some of those questions from the practice questions, you get the answers right for the test, right? So that's how it goes in teachers record. So it takes about, I think, 2 weeks, 7 days, 2 weeks to get the certificate, but I got mine in like 3 days. Got mine in 2-3 days. And I want us to talk about the next step. So the next step is the platform that you choose to teach it. I did mention you have to do your research first and foremost. You have to do your research when it comes to these things, because there's certain things that they outline, certain things that might not align with who you are, and so forth and so on. So you need to research thoroughly and go for the platform that feels more authentic or that aligns with you as a person, because I might like italki, I might like Cambly, you might like PREPLY, we like different things, and given whatever the structure is as far as like pricing, description, introduction videos, that's on you. You need to find what works for you. And I personally use PREPLY. PREPLY works for me. Really love PREPLY, and like I'll get into why I think PREPLY works for me. And like there's people for sure. The world is your oyster in this case. That's what they say. The world is your oyster. Did they say that? I don't know, but my point is you can use any platform at this point as long as it aligns with you. So it probably works for me. Love the platform, love the interface, user friendly. And what I also like about it is that there's a lot of material as far as the people that push out content, in that you don't need to be a part of the online community or a certain group of people that have a group chat, because there's a lot of people over there that have created videos about some of the challenges that you are to face in prep, so you can just take that question, go into YouTube, Google that, get the answer, go, there's that with PREPLY. So there's not much when it comes to italki and Cambly there is, because there's a lot of ads, I think, that they push out to people to like start going into online teaching. And I think currently English teachers in PREPLY, it's something like 17K. The last time I checked, it was not 17K. And the least teachers that are in PREPLY, it's the Portuguese teachers. It's something like 800 teachers. I don't know if it's because of like people don't want to learn Portuguese, or I don't know if like it's a shortage, I don't know, but a lot of people that are like, there are a lot of tutors in PREPLY are English teachers, so English tutors, tutors, teachers, one and the same thing, right? So that's what I got to witness. And I think one of the things that you also need to look into is there's what you call in PREPLY, there's something, and I want to highlight this before we go in further. There's this thing of like the terms and conditions, the do's and don'ts. I did let you know, I'm going to tell you about my experience. I think when you are part of PREPLY, they do let you know, these are the do's and don'ts of PREPLY and how commissions work with PREPLY. That's why I said earlier on, if you are using PREPLY or italki, the commission rate might be different from every platform. So that's why I said you need to find a platform that works best for you. With PREPLY, you can set your own prices for sure. So I want to highlight the one thing that I wanted to highlight is this. With PREPLY, I am going to break down the process, by the way, for the people that are waiting. I think with PREPLY, everything is in detail, as I said before, Guti. The material, teaching material, you get everything, even the app. There's a tool option there. You can use the tool icons to just help you browse around the interface and get to them everything. Where the library is, you can get your teaching material, and you can start with lesson planning and all of those things, right? So you can get that. And with CAMLI, if you don't have a degree, that's a disqualification on its own. You can't qualify to teach. I'm not sure with italki. I never really went into deep, but I know a lot of people that I saw were saying that they were facing a lot of challenges when it comes to italki. Fact is, I don't know whether that is true or not. I don't know whether that is true or not, but for someone who's looking into this, I think that's one of the platforms that you need to look into, italki. And do let us know what you think on the comment section, if italki is the great platform to use for online teaching. And if we have online tutors in the house, please let us know in the comment section. And if it's necessary for tutors, and for tutors who are sideless, to join us and create a community where we help one another with like this situation with PREPLY or whatever platform. Share information, share with people, and empower one another. Those hustle, right? So yeah, let's head over to it. They say that I'm using PREPLY, by the way. So for those of you who just joined us, today we are talking about online teaching. The song of the day is by NSTC, Prosper in Peace, and it's currently at 1.3 million in Spotify. Very nice song. I was listening to it while I was just doing the prep for the show, and I did apologize. I do know for sure, but we were supposed to be on close to 60 episodes, but because of the inconsistency that happened in the past 2 weeks, we're still at 40 something. But we are working towards it. So far, what do you think of the skill that I have, like speaking? I've been talking to a lot of people and trying to see if there's any improvement, and I've seen a bit of improvement in how I communicate certain things or how I feel, and I've been reading more and more books, so that also kind of helps. And I want to talk about this. Let me just leave this a bit. We'll come back, and I think on the last segment we'll try and break down PREPLY and give you all the information in regards to that. I want to talk about this. I was looking at Trevor Noah's new episode, new podcast. The first guest was Dwane "The Rock" Johnson. He was the first guest, and they touched on his divorce with the wife, and how they worked hard to keep the daughter and in check, to say if our marriage didn't work out, doesn't mean that yours wouldn't work out, and trying this co-parenting thing and making it work for their daughter. And I think that's they do have a healthy relationship. I know Trevor did ask a lot of questions around that and how they make it work. I didn't really dive into deep into the episode. That was a mouthful. I didn't really dive in too deep into the episode, but I'm hoping to binge it as I take my nap after 3 hours. I want to binge that before I go to the gym or take a nap or whatever the case is. I want to do that, and because I felt like it was an interesting episode and I thought it's something to share. And one thing that I saw, it is that Trevor, they're using phones to record their thing, and I was like, what? Wait, first and foremost, that's Trevor, and why is Trevor using phone to record the podcast? What's going on, guys? And it really humbled me to say, you don't really need much to actually start in anything, you just really need to do it. If Trevor is starting out and is recording one day because of whatever the case may be, you don't really, film cameras to create the greatest content ever. You just need to start with what you have. Remember, I said I do have a lovely quote that I like to use, which is use what you have until what you have gives you what you want. Very much, the quote that I use on a day-to-day basis, because I resonate with it in so many levels, because in a lot of things that I was able to do or still doing now, I kind of had to put myself in that position where I'm going to start with what I have, and over time I'll get to acquire information, knowledge, which will further attract certain resources to an even bigger audience. And I thought that was great for me to see that Trevor is doing. I was like, well, I don't really need much then if Trevor is doing that. So I speak on that because I really realized we are headed to the 100th episode, and so far I haven't spoken about details of the episode that we'll have. I did speak about the guests for sure, and there's 2 guests that I have in mind already, of which we are sure that those are the 101 and 102 guests for that. But other than that, that's what I just wanted to share with you, to say, that was very inspiring for Trevor to kind of show us behind the scenes, but not show us. And I picked that up. I was like, oh, that's very dope. I'll get to share it with the audience of the podcast. You know what I mean? And hopefully these words find someone who's struggling to start, to gather themselves and get the courage to really start on whatever they want to achieve in life. I'm your host, Lesego M, Daddy Waddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you haven't followed, subscribed, or liked, or gave us a rating, please do that so you can get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. And please, do let me know what you think about my skill as a broadcaster or podcaster. Let's meet after the break. Cheers. Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, Lesego M, Daddy Waddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you are a fan of pods, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. And on today's episode, we are talking about online teaching. As you all may know, for those of you who are returning followers or subscribers, you may know we see currently doing on to online teaching, and that's what we are talking about today. We are going in depth about everything, the process, the pros and cons, and the platforms that you need to use in order to be a part of the online teaching community. And that's what we're talking about today. The song of the day is Prosper in Peace by Nasty C, and currently at 1.3 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Those are very impressive numbers by Nasty C. And I do know that he is on tour with Casper Nyovest. And currently, I think I saw a post by either Casper or Nasty saying that they were in Zimbabwe. And I see a part of one thing that I've noticed about them going on tour is that they are inclusive as far as media. It's both. I don't know if I've seen, well, I did see them on radio now that I think about it. I saw them doing more podcasts, do more radio, just being accommodating of mainstream media, but also accommodating the new platforms or YouTubers, and I've seen that a lot from them, and I was like, oh, that's actually great, because it's creating or embracing these small channels or these young guys who are doing amazing stuff with their YouTube channels. And I just like the fact that they don't underlook or undermine them to say, well, I'm Casper, I'm Nasty, I'm big, there's no element of undermining in that. And I I truly like that about the tour and everything that they're doing, the media runs that they're doing. I think it's very impressive, and I don't know whose idea was that. If it's Silly's idea, it's great, man. If it's Nesty's brother, great, man. If it's both camps, great. But again, we did, speak about Cass's album. We did speak about Nesty's album. Which album do you think is the best currently? Which one are you bumping so far? I think 018 is the joint that I like from Cass's album. I didn't listen to the album, really dive into it, because I think with me, the reason I didn't listen to the album is like the narrative that was being driven by the general public kind of like ruined it for me. Because when I go in to listen to the album, I have that in mind. Like someone was saying that the album is trash, or like I already have that in mind, of which it's wrong for me to. I think I did say this on some episode that, because of what's going on, the hype around the two albums coming out, it kind of clouds my judgment in a way. I can't really have an opinion, my honest opinion, or my honest opinion. I don't know what I wanted to say there, but my honest opinion, because everybody's kind of like giving their thoughts on the album. And I think, again, as Eminem said once in an interview that he had with Sway when he was going through the beef with Machine Gun Kelly, shout out to Sway, shout out to Eminem, shout out to Machine Gun Kelly, as he said, like for someone to judge he was referring to himself to say, for someone to judge my album on the first listen, it's very raw, bro. Like how can you go through my experience in life and everything that I've went through in that body of work in just one listen? I feel like there's just a lot of like subliminals that are the double entendres, the wordplay, the antonyms. There's just a lot for you to just process in that one lesson. And I actually agree with that, and I'm like, well, maybe with Cass I also need to give him that, and I'm sure I'll get an opportunity to listen to his album After the Noise. And I got to bump a few songs of Nesty's album, and I think it's a great album. I like Prosper in Peace, Crazy. I think even, let me tell you something. The media run that Nesty did, or the media run that they did before the album came out, with the crazy, the challenges that were going around that, the Coke studio vibes and everything that they did prior to the album coming out, I think it was very, very, imperative for them to do, because it kind of gave listeners, or prepared listeners, who would say this is the direction that we are taking sonically as a label, or as a Nesty brand. This is the label that we are taking. This is the route that we're taking, rather, for Nesty's album. When you listen to songs that came out before, like Crazy, if you know Crazy, but there was a challenge going on around Crazy, and and it blew up. It took off. A lot of influencers, celebrities, they kind of jumped onto that, and it kind of did make sure with the album, as opposed to Cass, there was not really much done to prepare the people. And I think that's why we have the results that we have now in comparison to Nesty. There was a campaign that was held for Nesty to make sure people are prepared, sonically, this is the route they're taking, and it didn't disappoint. So let's go back to it. We were talking about PREPLY, and I know I took about 6 minutes talking about music, passion, I know. But yeah, going back to PREPLY, you have your TELF certificate. You go into PREPLY, you set up your description. There's a whole process that you do. You set up your description, you set up your pricing, and you also need to have an introduction video. And I do advise people who are going into online teaching to make sure with your research, you go into YouTube, you look at people's introduction videos, you look at people's descriptions, prices, and why, the system. Some of the people were saying that we didn't have clients because I've seen a comment from someone saying that I've had my account active, because like there's a process that you also have to undergo where PREPLY looks at your profile to determine if they, allow you to be a part of them, and if there's things that you need to adjust in between that, they'll send you an email back and forth so you can fix, So there's that even. So someone was saying, yo, my account is active, but I'm not getting any clients from PREPLY. And, I'm like, you need to also look into the failures and look at some of the people who were able to have immense success in PREPLY. Try to use whatever you get from both ends. Bring it together, see what works for you. I think it's very important. But even the introduction videos, use the format that they use to sell themselves, because it's very important. It's very important to know how to sell yourself as a tutor in PREPLY. And given that PREPLY is a student-centered, PREPLY is student-centered learning program or app or web browser. It's student-centered. So everything that you say in there, it has to always, give value to the student, because they want to bring value to the student. That's what they stand for. So it's a student-orientated platform. It shouldn't be about you, shouldn't be about PREPLY, but it should be about the individual needs of the student that you'll be teaching in your specific class. You know what I mean? So you need to do that. So that's why I say, it's very, very important that you look into that too as well. Just give yourself time. Don't rush into it. And even that's how you set your time. You need to look at the time zones differences to optimize. When is South Korea day? When is it night? I'm in Joburg. Who's waking up? What will I be teaching? At night, day? How does it work? Are you willing to sacrifice hours? There's just a lot of things that going into it you need to, for work readiness, or as a work readiness program that you need to set for yourself. And ask yourself those questions of timeline. Am I ready to sacrifice so many hours to teach online? Am I ready to do the research, look at the videos, take the formats, everything that I just said? Are you ready to do all those things? Because it's very important for your success. And one thing that I also have to highlight with PREPLY is that PREPLY doesn't pay you for the trial lessons. They don't pay you for the trial lessons. So the student does pay, but you don't get anything from that. They take 100% of that for all the trial lessons that you have in PREPLY. You don't get anything for that. And on top of that, PREPLY takes about 30% of commission from the money. From your $5 that you make, they take 30%. After the trial lesson, they take 30% from each and every video that you make. And it depends on hours. For 20 hours, they take 30%. As soon as you get more hours and you put in more work into it, obviously even the commission rates go down, because the hours and the people that you're teaching, you've built in your brand. And within PREPLY, the hours go down, even their commission percentages go down, But I think it also makes sense from a standpoint, from a business standpoint, for them to take a certain percentage of it, given that they're giving you study material, they are marketing your videos, they're getting customers for you. You don't do anything basically. You just need to come in with your skill of knowing how to teach. They give you the study material, you teach people. And at the end of the day, for you not to get clients, it's on you, it's not on them, because they do their end. They gave you the platform, they gave you the students, they gave you everything. It's up to you to just learn how to make it work. You know what I mean? So that's my point. So there's even people who are doing online videos just to make sure they have an edge to it. So there's a guy who looks like Mbappe in social media. So if you go into online teaching, there's a guy who looks like Mbappe. I'm sure you won't miss him. If you go into online teaching with your research, so you see that, you look at that, you will see he also has a community where he also assists people who want to become online teachers or side hustlers of some sort. He does have that. You just need to use the link that he has on the description to join the WhatsApp community that he built. So any question that you do have, he'll give you the opportunity to ask and possibly answer you or even help you with like setting up everything and ensuring that you get your first customers. And I think he's able to do that. I haven't been a part of any community, so I'd be lying if I said I know. And please do let us know if you think I should also have my own community with people who are informed in this particular area. Please do let us know. And please don't forget to follow, subscribe, and rate the show to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. What do you think of the episode? Leave a comment and we'll get to it and we'll improve on it. And what do you think about my skill, public speaking skill? I was facing challenges for people who've listened to the first, second, third episode. Even like the first 10 episodes, you hear what's like I was struggling in the interviews, and like now I'm having all these solo episodes. For people who don't know, I'm having all these solo episodes to improve on like the speaking. And someone yesterday did say, it doesn't make sense because the Saho, you like to talk, you are very open. I'm like, yeah, it's different when there's information, there's research in it. You just need to find out how to juggle you knowing how to talk and the information that you've researched and everything, and just make it a smooth transition. Other than that, if you don't do that, you won't offer value into the platform, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring I'm trying to bring value into this platform as much as I can to people who are listening, people who are my friends, my friends, my family, or whoever. It might not be that the community as a whole. I'm trying to bring in value for the people who appreciate me, and the conversations that I have, I feel like I can bring much value if I can, grasp the skill of public speaking with information and research. So me having all these solo episodes is because I'm trying to achieve that state of, that state of skill. I don't know if that's even a word, the state of skill, but we'll just say it is a word. The book of the day, I haven't read it myself, but I felt like it's a very interesting book when you want to learn about economics and business. The name of the book is 12 Months to $1 Million. 12 Months to $1 Million is the book of the day. For those of you who haven't followed, subscribe. Please do that to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. The song of the day is by Nasty. The name of the song is Prosper in Peace and Kindness. It is sitting at 1.3 million in Spotify, and I do apologize. But I had to apologize. We removed the noise. Yeah, so let's read our game on another exciting episode. Episode Sunday and Monday, just to make up for the 2 days that we didn't record, 2 to 3 days that we didn't record. Please do let us know in the comment section, and I'll make sure to get back to you. My name is Lesego M, Dwane, aka Future Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Let's meet again on another exciting episode of Backroom Convo with Lesego M. Cheers.